Okay, in this video we're going to talk about tightening the bow, or rather tightening the hair of the bow, how much to tighten when we're playing and how much to loosen when we're not playing. So the important thing is that when you're not playing and you pack the bow away, you do loosen the hair. Because if you keep the bow tightened over time, this natural bend to the stick, which is called a camber, the stick will warp, and pretty soon you won't have that camber. So when you loosen it, you want to loosen it to the point where there's maybe just a sliver of space in between the hair and the bow. And I have my bow loosened. This is enough. You don't have to loosen it to the point where the hairs become real floppy, because then they'll kind of rub against the stick, and that's too much. Okay, so now for tightening, I'm just going to tighten it to the point that I would use for playing. And you know, once you do this enough, you'll be able to just eyeball it. But technically, I guess you want to be able to fit maybe your pinky finger in between the hair and the stick, maybe a little bit more than that, about like that. And then of course, when you start playing, if you were to play and the stick actually hits the string when you're playing, you need to tighten it a little bit more. So this is plenty. The biggest mistake, the most common mistake that we see is that students will tighten the bow to the point where the stick and the hair are parallel. The hair is straight, but the stick will always have the camber, will always have the curve. Okay. Now, depending on where you live, sometimes you'll have varying levels of humidity. There are times when it's very humid outside, you'll need to tighten your bow a little more. The hair will stretch out, but just beware that when you loosen, you may have to loosen it a little bit more, because then when it dries up or there's air conditioning or heat, then the hair will shrink back, and your bow can the hair can get a little too tight in the case. So you just want to sometimes monitor that.